goodness and find the true spiritual aspects of the holiday. We discover the spiritual depth that comes from knowing the real reason this all began. For many, Advent is a foreign concept. They have heard of it and associate it with the Christmas season, but they don't know what it means. Even most Christians don't know the meaning of Advent or how it ties into the holidays. This lack of understanding is not only true for those who don't attend church, it's true for millions who never miss Sunday services. Many denominations simply do not recognize this sacred Christmas tradition. Others fail to explain Advent in ways that bring meaningful spiritual understanding to this custom. Yet to experience a rich and meaningful Christmas, it helps to understand and truly embrace Advent. Let's take a look at why the meaning of Advent has been lost for so many. Before 1940, the retail holiday season was relatively short. Many people didn't even think about Christmas until around December 20th. A great deal of the shopping and almost all the decorating were done on Christmas Eve. What transformed this time-honored week of Christmas into a full 6-week holiday experience was World War II. With millions of Americans fighting the war in foreign lands that lay beyond 2 oceans, President Franklin D. Roosevelt asked folks to shop and mail their gifts early. To ensure that loved ones overseas received their packages by Christmas, these parcels were to be given to mailmen no later than the first week in December. Thus, in 1942, the Christmas rush began before Thanksgiving. 4 years later, after the war ended, the mold was cast. Christmas had grown into more than a month of sales, songs, and entertainment. It was great for stores and, on the surface, seemed enjoyable for most people. Yet lost in this merriment were time-honored church traditions. Buried the deepest was Advent. Now it's time to shine the spotlight on this tradition of Advent and embrace it as originally intended. If you're looking for a way to put the real reason, as well as a lot of joy, back into your holiday season, it's time to bone up on some powerful and meaningful historical Christian teachings. Advent is a Latin word meaning the coming. The Christmas tie into Advent dates back to the 6th century, when church leaders dedicated a special time to properly focus men, women, and children on the real meaning of Christ's birth and life. This was a part of the holiday that was supposed to be packed with great spiritual revelation, a roadmap people were to follow all the way to the manger. During the Dark Ages, millions treasured the joy found in Advent. In our modern commercial world, with all its distractions, this kind of contemplation would seem to be more important than ever. Hence, the information age is the perfect time to go back to the roots of Advent. In the beginning, Advent started on the Sunday closest to November 30th and ran until Christmas Eve. Essentially, the church leaders of the day set aside 4 weeks to consider what the coming of Jesus meant not only to the world, but also to every individual soul. Though it was promoted by the church, Advent was meant to be a time of personal retrospect and growth for each believer. So if you found yourself complaining that the real meaning of the season has been lost in the noise of jingling cash registers, it's time to take a second look at the quiet peace found in experiencing a real Advent. More than 1,400 years after the first Advent season, many families use the symbols of Advent, but do not grasp the full meaning behind these symbols. While lighting candles and opening calendars can be wonderful traditions, few pause to reflect on their faith, because most don't know the real reason for Advent. Knowing what Advent is changes everything. Consider the following 3 reasons for Advent. Number 1. Reflect on what it means for God to come to earth in human form as a baby. We see the baby Jesus everywhere during this time of year. But do we think of God when we think about that infant? Even at Christmas, many never stop to consider the miracle of God loving His children so deeply that He placed Himself in a body like ours. This unawareness can change if, like the early Christians, we start our first day of December by considering this miracle birth and what it means to our lives. Consider this fact. No one has ever changed the world in such a lasting way as did Jesus. Reflecting on how different everything is because of His life and teachings should make everyone want to honor His birthday. After you have meditated on the historic impact of Christ for a few moments,